Founders Fund has closed a $6 billion vehicle aimed mainly at mature private technology companies. In the Peter Thiel Founders story, the pressure point is simple. Large venture firms are still attracting capital, while late-stage startups delay public listings and compete for bigger private rounds. Limited partners supplied about $4.5 billion, while Thiel, management, and employees committed another $1.5 billion. The viewer should not treat the number alone as the whole story, because the useful part is who is exposed, what mechanism created the pressure, and which signal shows whether the issue moves from claim to follow-through. The opening read is therefore narrow and concrete. 6B Fund sets the scale, while First Deals tells us what would make the next stage visible. That framing keeps Founders Fund raise tied to evidence instead of excitement. The new fund is the firm's largest raise and its fourth growth stage vehicle. It arrived less than a year after the prior growth fund, marking the fastest fund cycle in the firm's history. That baseline matters because it gives the story a factual floor before any reaction builds around it. The strongest confirmed scale marker is 6B Fund, while 1.5B Insider adds the context that keeps the event from becoming a vague market talking point. It also explains why Founders Fund is central to the case rather than background noise, and why the timeline or structure cannot be skipped. Without that baseline, 6B Fund can be misread. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. Peter Thiel Founders turns on the mechanism. Late-stage venture capital is moving into companies that need scale funding before an IPO. Instead of backing only early experiments, the fund can write larger checks to companies already trying to dominate a market. That is where a surface event becomes more than a headline. The mechanism explains whether the pressure sits in liquidity, compliance, custody, user access, product design, security, or market structure. In practical terms, the link between growth capital and AI funding is what makes the outcome matter beyond a single announcement or price move. That is the piece viewers can actually monitor. The affected side is late-stage startups. AI, defense, infrastructure, and capital-heavy startups could see stronger competition for private allocations. This is the practical consequence. The event can change how people use a platform, how traders read a level, how issuers design products, or how regulators evaluate a risk. The segment keeps that effect narrow because unsupported ecosystem-wide claims would blur the evidence and make the story less useful. The useful question is what late-stage startups can actually do or observe after this event. The consequence is concrete only where that group is involved. The unresolved piece is which sectors and companies receive the largest checks from the new vehicle. That does not erase the confirmed facts, but it does limit how far the conclusion can go. Future deployment details, portfolio disclosures, and follow-on rounds would show where the capital actually lands. This is the difference between a strong signal and a completed outcome. Viewers should know which part is established and which part still needs proof. The missing evidence matters because First Deals can change the interpretation without changing the baseline facts already on the table. That caution matters while the open item remains unsettled. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. The next signal is the first large deals made from the new fund. For Peter Thiel Founders, that matters because deployment will reveal whether this is mainly an AI infrastructure bet or a broader late-stage strategy. If that signal appears, the story can move into its next phase. If it does not, the event remains important but unfinished. The clean way to follow it is to track that trigger, not to assume the ending before the evidence arrives. The final readout is intentionally specific. First Deals is the point where follow-through can be judged. Everything else is context until that signal changes.